there, mortals. We are the Movie Nights, and we are burdened with glorious purpose to talk to you about the new Loki Episode 1 TV show that just came on at Disney+. With me breaking this stuff down is my hetero life mate, my man Seth. What's going on, man?
What's up, George? Excited to be here.
Yeah, man, me too. Okay, I'm glad you're excited. I'm excited too. That's
Short
about the most...
and
Yeah, very, very calm for Seth.
Very mellow. Yeah.
Always messing me up. The Wise Wizard is also here with us. What's going on, Craig?
Hello there.
Hello.
Great
And
to have
Outlaw
a.
Pete. Go ahead. My bad.
I'm just
You
saying,
go.
good to have a new series to talk about.
Yeah, good to have a new series to talk about. Absolutely. And then also with us is Outlaw Pete, joining us for the first time here on the Movie Nights. What's going on, buddy?
Good evening, gentlemen. Pleasure to be here.
Yes, it's late for you.
It
Poor
is,
Pete.
but it's worth it.
Craig is behind time. He's in the past. So it's kind of like we're the TVA right here. Me and Seth exist in normal time. Craig is in the past, and Pete is in the far future.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
We're all over the place.
Pete almost sounds like Jarvis.
Or
Everything
Ultron.
Pete-
Yeah.
Everything Pete says sounds more just cool.
Yes.
It's got gravitas.
Yes. That.
Yeah.
That.
It's got
Even that.
gravitas. Yeah.
Even that. We're gonna have to do like these shows now. Seth is gonna speak, and we're gonna have Pete there in the circle, and he's gonna have the translation. All right, man. So if this is your first time on the show, we do talks of movie and TV shows here on the Movie Nights channel, doing reactions. And by the way, I just want to say thank you for all you guys who checked out the He-Man reaction video that I just did. Got close to 10,000 views on that, which I think is pretty awesome. That's really good. Headbanging and all. But still, I mean, I had a good time doing that video, and it's awesome that it got the views that it did. So thank you guys for those of you who watched it. But if this is your first time on the show, please like and subscribe if you're into movie discussions like what we're talking about here, or TV show discussions. So let's get into it, man. What did you guys think about the latest episode? We'll start off with Craig down there.
I thought it was good, really good. It didn't blow me away, but by the end of it, I was intrigued to see where we're going.
All right.
Slightly concerned with all this time jumping stuff, and can it, how muddled it might get, but we'll see.
All right. Seth?
I liked it. I thought it was good. It started out. I'm glad it started out the way that it did, where it picked up from. That made me happy. So it didn't feel like it was starting you out somewhere, where it wasn't supposed to.
Right.
I like some of the little innuendos and the back and forth banter between some of the characters. So I thought that was pretty good.
Cool. All right, Pete, what you think, man?
I liked it too, yeah. I thought it was slow in places, but I think Hiddleston is just, that is the role of a lifetime for him. And, I think he's just amazing. So, yeah, intrigued to see what happens next.
I personally really enjoyed it. I've already seen it a few times. My wife has tried to watch it a few times. She's fallen asleep because we keep watching it at night, and it's forced me to watch it several times. But I really liked it. I especially the banter between Wilson's character and Hiddleston. That whole psychoanalyzation thing was cool.
Yes.
I agree with Seth where it started out. So some of the things that happened in other TV shows, like for instance, like when they, not to bring Star Wars up, but when they brought Boba Fett back into the Mandalorian, they left a big gap with questions, and maybe we'll get some answers for that with the new TV show. But I like that we started out right at where they left off in Endgame, and you have him jumping into this whole story now. So there's no question, what's going on.
Right.
So I thought that was cool, but like what Craig said, there is a confusion that I'm having. What do you guys think about their explanation of the multiverse in this show? And do you think that it debunks what they explained in Endgame?
I don't think so, because basically what they said in Endgame was the same translation in a roundabout way, because where the supreme being was more focused on about putting back the time stones, the stones at the exact point, where this was explaining where if a person might get off the beaten path, it could almost kind of be, you could almost kind of put it as a stone too. So basically, if like you didn't put a stone back in the right time, in the right path, it would create an alternate timeline, which is basically what they were saying about the people. If the people didn't stay on the right timeline, it would create an alternate timeline. So I mean, there really wasn't much confusion. It was just, you know, comparing the difference between the stones and people, but it's basically one and the same the way it was explained.
Apart from the fact that it's convenient that certain forms of time travel done by certain people is okay, you know, and other parts aren't, you know. I mean, that's conveniently worked into the so that the whole show works in the first place, I guess.
Right.
But
I that's one thing that, like, immediately when I saw it, you know, I was like, okay, Loki grabs the Tesseract, and all of a sudden the time cops are right there, right? That the what do they call them, the Minutemen? They jump on him like white on rice. But then you got the Avengers taking stones from all kinds of different time zones, and even
there's no interference.
And there's no interference.
Yeah, but that's okay because they were meant to do that. That's
right.
That's how
Right.
That doesn't make sense to me the way that was explained.
Well,
and then,
you might be missing a key factor, and maybe this might get explained the wrong way. Okay. So again, Thanos snapped half of the population, you know, half of the universe away. So maybe the time the time variant agency, whatever they're called, you know, might have gotten snapped away. Maybe that's why no one intervened.
No, but they exist outside of time. And remember, in their realm, the stones don't even have any power.
Yeah.
The paperweights.
Yeah. I thought that was good.
Which that totally just blew my mind. He's like, you know, the guy opens up the drawer and he's like, "You've got Infinity Stones?"
Yeah. And he didn't just have a few either. He had like
a whole drawer full of them,
loads of them, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was one plot point I was kind of like, I don't know if I like this, you know, to make the most important thing now irrelevant, you know.
But isn't that interesting though? Because like, can't anybody kind of see maybe like this leading into the Watcher?
Okay, explain.
Well, because like, isn't the Watcher? I don't have much backstory on the Watcher, but I'm just saying though. But isn't like the Watcher like someone who watches over the, you know, the time, the time and all that stuff? Not just like the three Guardians that they explained. There's the actual Watcher.
Watchers.
I think the Watcher. Yeah, I think the Watchers watch
plural
existence in the current multiverse. I'm not sure if they watch it outside of time. You know,
they watch it with Stan Lee, don't they?
Yeah,
they're more like they're more like recorders and historians. They don't interfere. They just observe.
Right. Whereas the TVA is more of
intervene.
Intervene and make sure that things are kept the way they're supposed to be. But
I did think of that connection, Seth.
What?
I said I did think of that connection. Yeah. That.
Okay, so the idea that I tried to justify with this whole time thing is that the Avengers took the stones, but then, you know, Captain America went back in time and put them all back where they were supposed to be. So he went back before the divergence would have happened, which would make everything back to normal.
Yeah, reset the timelines.
Okay. How does that explain Captain America going back in time and marrying Peggy?
Right. And now then they wouldn't interfere with that. That doesn't
See,
add up.
But that's the funny thing, and then that's what somebody pointed out in the show, that when Loki was in the line when he was getting the ticket, one of the Minutemen came through with a woman who looked very similar to Peggy. But then, if that was the case, like we said when we were discussing off air, why would they take Peggy and not take Captain America? Because Captain America was the one who broke the timeline.
Right. And if you're looking for that scene in the TV show, it didn't happen where Seth just said. It actually happened when Loki stole the little clicker that makes him go back. And you know that.
Okay, I thought it was in the line. It was in the minute. Tether. It was. I think it happens at like 34 minutes in the show.
It happens. Yeah,
it happens. Where is Captain America anyway? You know, where is he? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it really does look like Peggy Carter, by the way. You know.
But again, it's funny though. Why would they not take Captain America and take Peggy? That doesn't make any sense.
Because the divergence would be Cap.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So maybe they're doing that just to throw people off of something. Who knows?
It's Cap privilege.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's such a nice guy. Yeah.
We couldn't take him back. He was just so sweet.
Well, the funny thing too is in the comics, the TVA have actually put on trial other heroes. The Fantastic Four have been put on trial, and so has She-Hulk. So, I mean, Cap isn't that Loki's a bad guy that he's being taken, but. they actually do that in other things. Yeah, that to me kind of throws things off a little bit with the whole time stuff. But I guess we'll get more explanation as that goes.
My favorite part of that whole show was what is it, where the guy walks up and he's fighting with the agent. He's like, "You need to take a ticket." And he's like, "No, I'm not." He's like, "No, I'm not going to take a ticket." And he's like, "I highly suggest you take a ticket." And he's like, "I'm not going to take a ticket." So he just walks the line. He walks the line, and then the guy sees Loki and he's like, "Sir, please take a ticket." So Loki's like, "Okay," he takes a ticket, and then he gets to the front, and then the guy's like, "Sir, where's your ticket?" He's like, "Well, the guy up front didn't give me a ticket," and then he just zapped, he zapped him, and Loki's like, "Where's my ticket?
Where's my damn ticket?
Yeah, where's my ticket?" That was good. That was great. That was awesome. I love that.
I have to say, he is brilliant, isn't he, Hiddleston?
Yeah,
I mean,
Hiddleston's amazing, man.
Yes.
I think WandaVision. I mean, okay, we've only seen one episode of this, but they should be up for TV awards for these sort of things.
They should be.
Yeah.
They might. You never know.
I love when
they never give them Oscars or anything like that, and I can understand that, for the type of movies they are. But I think they should definitely be up for
Emmys.
Emmys. Yeah.
I love the evolution of Loki just in this one episode because we've seen Loki evolve from how he was when he was first introduced in Thor all the way to Endgame, and how he became kind of the hero, kind of a good guy towards the end. But you got all that, really in one episode, sort of. So, like, if you see at the beginning, we have Loki from 2012, and he lands in that desert in was it Mongolia? I think is where he was.
Yes.
Yes. Gobi Desert. Yeah.
I love how he sees the people, and then he's like, "I got to greet my subjects," and he gets up out of the sand real fast, and he's like, "Dust myself off." He's like, "I am Loki, and I'm burdened," and I'm like, I was like, "That's pretty funny."
Yeah, they're unimpressed.
And then people are like, "Who are you?
Who are you?"
Right.
But it was great, and he has good comedic timing throughout the whole show.
And by the end of the episode, he's given up, hasn't he? Do you know what I mean? He's I mean, in one episode, he's gone from an omnipotent god to actually thinking, "Okay, you got me. I'll give up."
Exactly.
Which makes it exciting as to what's going to happen, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. What do you guys think about the introduction of the TVA there? What I thought was pretty interesting was that when they brought him into the that area where he gets his ticket, it almost seems like the technology of that area seems dated. Like even the little message that he sees.
Well, I
like
wouldn't
60s,
say I wouldn't say like the technology was dated. I would just say that the decor more than anything, because they have the technology that they put around his collar and they could keep buzzing him so he doesn't stop running, or they have the sticks that disintegrate people. I wouldn't say it was the technology. I would say it was more the decor than anything.
The robot looked very, very practical. It didn't look, and then you had the recording, like, was very 60s, like something out of like WandaVision almost.
It actually
they're using film.
Yeah, they're using film, right?
It was funny. Yeah. It was funny. Like, I almost felt like at that scene when they were explaining everything that he was like in the line at one of the rides at Disney.
Yeah, I even said that. I was like, this feels very Disney.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Or the Jurassic Park.
The Jurassic
DNA.
Park.
Yeah.
She's like Mrs. Time or something like that. I think she has a name. Forgot what
Talking of the robot, the bit where he says, "This is fine as Guardian leather," and
zap, there's the whole thing off.
You're naked.
That whole scene where he's brought in reminded me of Ragnarok, of Thor. That because Thor is brought there, and he's the god of thunder, and then they strip him of his clothes, they cut his hair,
right?
They give him like that felt very much like that. Even the landing in the sand was kind of similar to Iron Man. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they gotta throw all their innuendos in there and stuff like that, So it's. But I thought it was. I thought it was a great show. I thought it was a lot of cool stuff happening.
When I was getting back to the dated part, what I was saying about the whole thing about the technology looking kind of dated. When they take them outside and you see the what's that thing called, the null time zone? You see how advanced it looks when they walk outside. That's the thing that I was trying to get at there. It looked very like I wasn't expecting that when they walked out.
Looked like the Fifth Element, didn't it?
Yeah. I was like, man, I want to go around there and see what that's like. I hope they take us out and they show us more of that.
Because he even said, "Is this real?" or something. Like he was questioning.
There were two big statues holding up one part of it as well, wasn't there?
Right.
Like two. Yeah. So I wonder who they're of.
Right. I assume they were the timekeepers that they had.
Well, why wasn't there three then? There was only two.
That's true. Well, maybe there was one that's hidden somewhere else. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe he's on the flip side. Yeah.
Yeah, I like when he got hit in the face with the stick. And it just like time just slowed down, and you see his face like he's like,
I thought about that after I saw that. I was like, how can we do that on the show? That would be fun.
Yeah, he's like, I hit you. He's like, sir, you've been hit with the stick. You're gonna feel all the pain, but it's in slow motion.
Yeah,
the time stick. The time stick. Now,
and that actress as well, the one that hit him. She was
tough
in the
woman?
I can't remember the show she was in recently. I watched it, and she was in that. It was set in the 60s. Oh god, really dark show. It was on Netflix or Amazon Prime or something like that. It'll come to me. It's on the tip of my tongue. But she was really good in that as well. She's a good actress.
Yeah, she's a tough woman. Or at least they portray her that way in the show.
It was just funny when Loki kept zapping her.
Oh yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Rewinding. That was great. That was great. What'd you guys think about Owen Wilson and Loki? What's his name? His name is Mobius. Mobius and Loki. When Mobius starts analyzing him and trying to make him see, or trying to see if he's a bad version, I guess, of himself.
It gave me the bad cop, good cop, 80s buddy cop movie kind of vibe where, obviously, you got the straight and narrow guy who's Morbius, and then you have Loki who's, I'm just going to do whatever it takes to, to get like almost kind of like a Lethal Weapon thing, like where it was like a Danny Glover and Mel Gibson type, type thing back and forth, because obviously they're going to partner up. So we're going to see a lot of that happening, which is going to be interesting, and they played very well off of each other, especially during that interrogation scene.
Owen Wilson's Owen Wilson and everything he's in, though, isn't he? Do you know? I mean, he's Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
It was Lovecraft Country, by the way.
Lovecraft. I thought that that's what you were going with, but I didn't know if that was going to be the name I was going to say. But yeah. All right, cool. I haven't seen that one yet. I heard it was good though.
It's good, yeah.
I like his casting in it. I think he's really good casting for him. I don't particularly like the lady head enforcer. I don't find her terribly intimidating. If I have one nitpick with the show, she's the one that I'm like just kind of on her casting. I don't really find her intimidating.
Okay. I thought she came across as being pretty tough. I was like, man, that's a bad bitch.
She knocked the shit out of Loki, didn't she?
She did. She's like, I don't care who you are. But then again, it's like they got to figure that they feel, I guess, empowered. They wouldn't be afraid of Loki, even if he had powers. They just know what to do. What else?
But I like the casting overall.
Yeah. Owen Wilson's analyzation of Loki, I felt like it was really digging in, and I kind of knew where they were going with that, and they were going to eventually show Loki dying, and I was curious to see how that was going to affect Loki, and I felt like Hiddleston really did a great job with seeing his own death, and I think they came across.
And seeing his mother's death. Yeah,
his mother,
yeah. And man, that's pretty nuts too. I never really looked at it that way, but he's the one that really made that happen. If it wasn't for him,
right?
I suggest you go left.
Yeah. It's got to be rough to know that, man. Yeah,
that you sent your mother to her own death.
To her own death, and then that brings him down, right? So like you have his thought at the beginning, like what Pete said, that he's this omnipotent being, but then he starts to see all these things, and then that whole thing where Mobius tells him that you're not the hero of the story. You're only here to make other people reach their better selves. That's rough, man.
See, but I don't even think that was the case, because he did turn it around. By Endgame, he was considered a good guy. At least in my opinion. So he did turn it around. So that's not entirely true. Every movie he was in, you definitely saw an evolution of the Loki character as he was slowly starting from bad, going to good. Going to good.
Loki's more anti-hero than hero.
Yeah.
He's the god of mischief. Yeah.
Right.
He's a scamp, isn't he?
He serves himself. in whatever
Right.
the situation is.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't
Right.
say. But I wouldn't say he's a. He's a full blown bad guy. I mean, yeah, like
No.
I would go with what Craig said. He's the
Anti-hero,
He's
yeah.
the anti-hero. He does what's right when he knows what needs to be done.
Situational ethics. Yeah.
Situational heroism.
Right.
He's the Stone Cold Steve Austin of the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice. Just gonna go around dishing out stunners and drinking beers.
Right.
But
But
some ass.
But I mean, anytime that he does something bad, he wins possibly for a little bit, but then he gets beaten by the good guys. Anytime he tries to do something bad, Thor's taken him out, the Avengers have taken him out, Thor took him out again, and then each one results in something else happening. His mother died, then his dad died. But it's like he put his father on Earth, right, in a cycle ward. By the time they found him again, he was dead.
But at the end of Ragnarok, him and Thor were together, weren't they? So.
Yes, by that point, and then he got to see that too, but. Still, that hearing those words, that you all this time you've thought yourself as the would-be king, and then you find out that you're just a cog in the story of
and everything. Yeah.
Didn't he say something to the fact that you're good at losing or something like
you're
that? There was a real jab there. That was
It's messed up, man. I felt bad for him at that point, So
yeah, they
speaking
gave some
of
compassion to him.
Yes, it does make you feel sorry for the guy. I really like the DB Cooper part. That was cool. I hope they do more of that kind of stuff. Like they show some of his past mischievous
like who he was in past lives.
He's the imposter, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious, man.
Yep, pretty good.
Yeah. So
the scene of the whole show was watching the film, though. That we were just talking about. To me, that was what gripped me. It kind of just was on cruise control until that point, and I was like, okay, now you got me.
Yeah.
I thought that was.
Yeah,
cool.
that was the meat of the whole thing. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think of the end? So at the beginning, we're introduced to this. I thought it was a girl, but I mean everybody's saying it's a boy. The French kid.
The French kid in the church.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought it was a girl. Yeah.
I thought it was a girl.
I thought it was a boy.
I thought it was Joan of Arc at first. For some reason, I was like, it's going to be like a young Joan of Arc. That'd be kind of cool. In the past.
Are we going to mention Mephisto here, by any chance?
Okay, yes. So that's what I'm getting at. He says who did this, and then she points at the devil.
But the funny thing
think
is,
of Mephisto.
But the funny thing is, I agree with you. That made me think, okay, now we're finally going to get Mephisto after they teased the hell out of it in WandaVision.
They're trolling us again.
Yeah,
but
exactly that. That's
but since the show has to do with the multiverse and all that stuff, we're getting into Doctor Strange territory too, because that's the name of the second Doctor Strange movie is the what is it, the Multiverse Madness or whatever it is. But a lot of people, from what I've been reading, a lot of people are saying that that it's Loki that's doing this, but it's the female version of Loki from another multiverse.
That's what I've been hearing too.
So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Like me personally, like I was on board with you guys. I thought it was Mephisto, but it's like but then after reading what these people were writing and them talking about it could be a female version of Loki, and that now this is going to open up the multiverse. Which not only is it going to open up the multiverse for Doctor Strange, it's going to open up the multiverse for the Spider-Man movie that everybody's talking about, that's supposed to have Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in it, because there's supposed to be a slew of Spider-Mans.
And they even dropped a Nightmare quote. I'm like, they're friggin' trolling.
They're trolling us, yeah. If you want to blow up Nightmare, I'm down for that. I love that. I'll burn that to the ground.
I was like, they watch WandaVision and they watch the internet and they're like, hey, let's film some what do you call it? Pick up scenes. Hey, let's put
a picture of a devil's face on that.
Yeah. Just to
get everyone talking. Yeah.
Like they're trolling us.
One thing that threw me off in that scene was that the blue gum or whatever that the
what was that all about?
It's a kaboom. What did it say?
Kablooey?
Yeah, kablooey. Yeah. I was looking that up. I could not find any information on it.
And it was in the credits.
It was bloodberry as well, wasn't it? It was bloodberry flavor or something as well. So,
yeah. So I don't know what the deal with that is. But I
well, it's like the guy that came there. It has come from a different time, and
it must be the gum of choice for Mephisto.
From Mephisto.
Bloodberry. Yeah,
we got the WandaVision commercials going on with the gum.
Maybe it's Maybe it's Blade. Bloodberry.
Blade would be cool. What do you guys think about that end scene, man? Do you think, okay, if that's Loki, would that be did she look like a female, or did it look like a female to you?
Honestly, you couldn't tell.
Couldn't tell at all.
And I think that's the way they did that for a reason. Mm-hmm. So it keeps people guessing, okay, is this going to be a male or is it going to be a female? Like, I didn't even think it was a female until I started reading the stuff after I saw it. So to me, I was just assuming it was a male. Now, my thought process on that before I even started reading the rap sheets too is that, I thought, again, I'm going back, I thought it was Mephisto, but Mephisto can also shapeshift. So what's to say that he didn't shapeshift into Loki? And that's why he was like, oh, we're stopping you.
Right.
We're trying to stop you. So, it could be, a shapeshifter of some form too. So
and Loki can shapeshift as well.
Loki can
shapeshift. Yeah. So that's why it could either be Mephisto, and I think also too that's why people started writing it could be the female Loki too, because you shapeshift.
I saw a meme on Facebook today, and they were like, "We're hunting you," and they have the last panel as a picture of Matt Damon as Loki.
Oh, from Ragnarok. Yeah, from Ragnarok. That's great.
That's right. He did play Loki, right?
Right.
Yeah. That'd be funny. That'd actually be pretty damn funny if they did that. Yeah. That'd be a good show.
Matt Damon.
Oh man, that would be good. But you notice that the bad guy's collecting those time resetters.
Yeah, the grenades. The grenade. I think they're like time grenades or whatever.
There's obviously a reason that he's collecting those. Yeah. So.
Right. Curious to see what those are going to do, because at the beginning when they set the charge off, did you see Loki's reaction when he turned around and tried to see what was happening? Because Loki looked back, he looked pretty shocked, about what he was seeing. So I'm curious to see what those things actually do. My assumption is that they singe everything and they just bring everything back to a certain point.
It could be what is it, like their form of the Men in Black neuralizer, like it wipes people's memories.
Right.
Oh, you never saw me here at this time.
Like, don't do the zappy thing. You can't do the zappy thing to little kids. Oh man, yeah. Overall, I thought it was great. I'm looking forward to next week actually. So,
but you know what kind of sucks though is that now it's on Wednesdays. It's not on Fridays.
Mm-hmm. I like that it's on Wednesdays. You don't care that.
No, I like it on Friday. I like it on Fridays because it makes you look forward to Fridays. I'm not a big fan of Wednesdays. It's the middle of the week. You're kind of feeling the sluggish stuff. You're tired already. And you're not as motivated. Where Friday rolls around, you're like, yeah, I'm ready for the weekend.
Right.
Let's sit down. Let's watch Loki. Let's have some fun. No, I don't get that.
I got the bad batch right now, so for me, it's like I got Wednesdays and Fridays right now, so I'm straight.
Do we know how many episodes there's going to be?
I don't, man. I'm assuming 6.
People are saying 6. I'm thinking 8.
You're thinking 8?
I'm thinking 8. 8 is being conservative.
Are they going to do like Falcon go 40, 30?
It was 52 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, this one, but which is the Falcon and Winter Soldier was longer. I think the first one.
Weren't they all close to like 40 minutes long?
They were all close to. I think they were like 38 minutes.
They were definitely longer than WandaVision.
But I'm definitely interested to see if they do with what they did with WandaVision and Falcon and Captain America, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where they start showing end credit scenes like the last 3 episodes.
I bet they will. Yeah.
I want to know if they're gonna stick to that, or they're just gonna start showing them after on the next episode.
There was one quote in the we were talking about earlier, and I forgot to say it, but they said madness and they said multiverse, like in the same series of sentences. I was like, they're setting up the Doctor Strange thought.
Doctor Strange stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Any last big takeaways from this episode?
It's going to be kind of interesting to see if they actually go with the female Loki. I think that would be interesting. I don't know how that would play, like how that whole thing would play out at that point.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, the rest of the world is hoping for Mephisto, so we can finally put that to bed, and everybody can stop being like, "Oh, Mephisto's showing up in this one for sure," But I thought it was a great show. I'm interested to see where it takes off from here. And yeah, I thought it was good. It was very entertaining. It held. I actually liked this compared to the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and compared to the first episode of WandaVision. I thought this was a better introductory episode to the shows. But that could change. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Anybody?
Yeah, everyone's forgotten how much how weird WandaVision was to start off with, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. WandaVision didn't get good until like the 4th episode, because then by that point, all the first 3 episodes made sense.
For you.
Yeah.
Craig's just like,
I was intrigued from the start.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to see what happens. I'm open-minded. No idea where they're going with it, but it's an exciting premise, isn't it? Where you can, I think that thing with the DB Cooper, where they went into a sort of real life thing that happened, and put him in that. I mean, they could do all sorts of stuff with that throughout time, couldn't they?
Right.
Especially when you saw what they called the TVA, going back to the sort of 1600s or what have you. I mean, he could go into any part of time, couldn't he?
Exactly.
So,
right.
I think they could have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, absolutely right. And he's just brilliant. You can imagine his, some of the comments he can make in different scenarios,
Yeah,
I don't know why this just popped in my head, but there was Time Bandits back in the early 80s that had time travel in historical events.
Mm-hmm.
I got to
There's a series as well. There's a series. I'm not going to look it up now, but there's a series where they've done that as well, where they've been going back into historical events and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm also wondering too if they're going to bring the quantum realm into all of this at some point. If that'll get brought up.
I think it's going to. It's because I believe I read that there's plans to bring Kang the Conqueror. I think that's his Kang.
Yeah, for the Ant-Man for the Ant-Man and the Wasp. Because it's called like Quantumania or something like that.
And apparently, like his world was seen in one of the Ant-Man movies. Like when he was going through the quantum realm, you saw like a little bit of it, like in this like small little speck that everybody zoomed in on.
It's Quadrophenia.
Yeah. So I mean, but like if you saw it in the movies, like I never noticed that. People like zoomed in on it. I was like, you guys are great.
That series is timeless.
Quantumania.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. How many people missed Howard the Duck until they spotted him out when he was coming through the portal?
Yeah. True.
Which that was the greatest part of Endgame.
Was the Howard the Duck?
Was Howard the Duck coming out? I love Howard the Duck. I don't care what anybody says.
My concern with this show is, can they keep the train on the tracks with
time,
with logic, to where you're not ending the show going, well, that didn't make sense and that didn't make sense.
Well, technically they already went off the rails, because like we were saying, like if that was the case, they would have pulled Captain America and not Peggy. If that was Peggy.
If that was Peggy. I mean, I personally felt that in Endgame they messed up the whole time thing. I had a real problem with that when we did the review of of Endgame.
Well, see, that almost made me think too. If you want to go back to the end of Endgame, where Captain America's sitting on the bench talking to Sam as the old man, and Sam's like, "Oh, do you want to talk about that?" When he sees the Red Wing, and he's like, "No, I don't want it." He's like, "No, I don't think I will." So maybe that was Peggy, and he saw the time cop pulling Peggy away.
Here's my thing about time. My thing about time that bugs me about with and we're gonna go. I mean, I don't care. We got time.
We got more time.
We got more time. The thing that bugs me about time with the Avengers movies is that if you go back in time and you take something and you have a divergence in time, then if you go into the future, that divergence should now take hold as the true time, in my opinion. Because whatever was taken from here no longer existed.
See, but I agree with you, and that's where the part in Endgame lost all credibility, where Nebula shot herself That Nebula that shot herself, she should have died because that was the Nebula from the past.
Right.
So that Nebula shouldn't have even existed after she shot herself.
There was a bit in Endgame, wasn't there, where they, I think it was Paul Rudd said, so what you're saying, that Back to the Future, or all of that stuff, none of that's
a bunch of crap.
You know?
Yeah. It was a bunch of crap. I was like...
Right.
Because they've come up with their own explanation, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? So
first of all, Back to the Future was an amazing time travel movie, and you totally, just like trashed it in Endgame. I was like, no, sir, you can't do that. That's a good movie.
So what you're saying is you want to pull off a time heist? Is that what you're calling it?
Time heist. One more thing I thought that was cool before we get out is that the name of Owen Wilson's character is Mobius, and what's his name? Tony Stark, when he developed the whole time thing, it's from something called the Mobius belt or Mobius something. I can't think of the name of it.
Wasn't that's that weird shape?
Yeah, it's that weird. It's that weird figure eight looking thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. Although that has no tie-in with each other, it's because his name was Mobius in the comics. Apparently, he's one of many of himself in the in that whole area, that null time zone or whatever they're at.
Interesting.
So.
One other thing I saw on Facebook, and I didn't research it to see if it's accurate or not, but somebody did a still frame whenever the last of Loki watching the film, and the last thing on the film it says like ERTH 616, for like Earth 616. Yeah.
What is it?
It's a reference
to what?
It's a reference to. In other words, our present time in the comics, they call it Earth 616.
616.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Little Easter egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good show.
There'll be a video somewhere saying how many Easter eggs there were in it, wasn't there?
I saw one that said 77.
I was going to say, lots.
Yeah.
Frankie's our Easter egg guy. Where you at, Frankie?
I love the Easter egg things, like when they say we got 77 Easter eggs, and they really like stretch it, you know, some of the stuff I'm like, is that really an Easter egg?
they must watch that and pause it every 5 seconds, just to make sure they don't miss anything. Yeah.
This police car is the same one that was in.
Yeah. Yeah. Cracks me up, man. Anyway, that's our thoughts on the first episode of Loki. Let us know what you guys thought about the episode in the comments below, and if we missed anything, also let us know. We'll read back at the comments and add it to our knowledge base. So thanks, guys, for joining us, and until next time, which will be next week, keep it marvelous.
Well, how soon will be next week?
Soon.
It'll be sooner for me. Yeah.